Welcome to my exhibition. It's Friday, it's 20 to 3 and I'm semi-ready, done my hair and makeup sort of. As you can see, I haven't changed yet. We're having a private view tonight, basically inviting friends and people we know we think might be interested to come around and have a drink and a nibble. We've got a friend who's making some delicious canapes because she tested them on us, which was a difficult job, but somebody has to do it. And then I'm going to be open for the next 3 days to the general public. So I've got to put lots of signs out so they can find me. And we've just spent the last couple of days setting everything up, but it seems to have come together. So this is our living room, and these 3 pieces, there is going to be a video on how I made these, because these are probably the most recent things that I've done. They're all made with layers of silk and printing, and as you can see, quite colourful. So we've put them at the back here where they can be seen. And this, you might have seen one of my other videos where I made these envelope books, and I thought that rather went well with it. So that's that area. And I will turn you round. I'll do a few close-ups so you can see. So these are a mixture of new works and a few slightly older ones that I thought went with the theme, because my theme is a creative garden, so plant-related and insects, that sort of thing, and quite a few cyanotypes as well. And these are some of my jelly prints that I've had enlarged and made into these large pieces, which I've stitched free machine embroidery. There's a video about that as well, if you're interested. And then, as well as that, I've got quite a lot of wooden panels. So we've distributed them in various places, so on the mantelpiece and the stove there. And then over here is my other half, David, and our dog, who is drooling over the nice cushions that aren't normally on this sofa. Because of that, normally has a blanket and some manky old cushions that we can shove in the washing machine. She won't be here, she's going to a friend this evening. And we've got this over here, rather proud of this ladder. A friend was going to throw it out. A friend of ours was going to throw this out, and she said, "Do you want it for plants?" And I said yes, and it sat unloved for months on end because it was quite tatty, but we had it sanded down. My sister-in-law, thank you Kim, came and helped me. She gave it a good clean, and we painted it with this chalk paint. I think it's come up really nicely. So these are some of my panels these are jelly prints. These are a mixture of all sorts of printing, and then I put these are some of my photographs that I print onto tissue paper and then apply on top of the others. So I think that's pretty much everything in this room. One last piece, but this isn't for sale because I actually made this piece to go in this room. Which was about 10 years ago now, isn't it, that we've had this room? Or is it more? Yeah. Is it more than that? And I've got a tiny little not for sale sign next to it. Are we supporting artists? Do we get paid? Oh, so as soon as I get paid, you'll get paid. So this is our living room. There's the garden. I'll show you that in a minute because it's looking quite nice because we've tidied up so much, shoved all the empty plastic pots away. So this is our dining room. Let me see what the best place is. So mixture of things in here. On the back wall, I've got some cyanotype pieces. It's very hard to get them wonky. Actually, they need a bit of a clean as well. That will be added to the list of things to do, if I remember. Some things are more important than others, aren't they? And some more panels. And then over here, I've got these, what I'm calling botanical miniatures. They've got actual plant material and prints. And we've also got cards here. I got quite a lot printed. A company called Moo, who did my business cards. And I like them because you can have lots of different designs. There are one or two caveats with that. I might do a short video about that because some things were really good, some things were a bit annoying. But I've got lots of different designs in both landscape and portrait. Envelopes behind, and I've got a few signer type cards that are made from original. So these are the actual things rather than those which have been printed. I've got my visitor book here, which of course I had to make. And I think there's a video I showed how I made this. I'll link that if you're interested. And I've asked for people to put their names, and they can, if they would like my occasional newsletter, which at the moment seems to be about once per season. So I don't exactly flood people's inboxes. I've got my price list. I've got we have used this before, but we need to input the prices into this device, or you can just use it with an app with your phone so that we can take cards. So that's still to be done. This is one I did a while ago, but I just thought it fitted really well with the theme, which is some watercolour studies of plants. I think I did them all through one winter. I was trying to find if I could still find things in flower over the winter, and I sort of documented them like that. And then some more prints here, and I've got some more on the other side as well. The leaf prints are on that shelf there. And I've got a panel up. What we've done is we've taken all our pictures of other people down, and we have quite a lot of art in the house, and I've replaced them with mine. It's quite egotistical filling your house with your own art, I must say. But it seemed like the best way because we didn't really want to be banging any more nails in. And then the hallway's got a few things. This is, I don't know how well you can see this. As I say, I'll take some other pictures and put them in. This is quite difficult to show on camera. I hope the sound is good. I've got a new microphone, and this is the first time I'm using it, so I hope the levels are okay. So it's a large fabric quilted piece there. And then I've got a little framed piece, a little quilted piece here, another framed piece here. And then this is something a bit different. Let me do the reveal. I can't decide what to focus on. So if you've seen any of my videos before, you know I film a lot in my studio, but I've set my studio up to be a little bit different. It's a lot tidier for a start, and also it has become the cabinet of curiosities. So come with me. Take the vacuum cleaner out first. That rather spoils the mystique, doesn't it? So as you go in, on this wall here, this is a work that I've done recently. So this is a work that I've finished recently, so you might have seen this, and I'm presenting it as one whole piece. I doubt anybody would want it. Because there was so much work, I'm having to charge quite a lot for it if somebody wants the whole thing. So I very much doubt anybody will actually buy it like that. So, but if they did, I would sew, these are just all pinned to the board, but I'd sew all this together and I'd put it on a backing cloth and make it one whole thing. Otherwise, all these are available separately, and I either put a hanging sleeve on the back, or I found these frames, which I rather like because they don't cover the back, and you can see the sort of I try and keep it neat on the back so you can see the stitching on there as well. And so people would have the choice of either in a frame or in a hanging sleeve. And in front of it, I've put the book that inspired this and that I took the prints from. When I go to exhibitions, I always love to see people's sketchbooks. It's almost my favourite part because I'm so interested in process and how other people make creative decisions. So that's for people to look through. I kind of just left the threads there because I was going to tidy them away, but they're just quite sort of, but actually I think they're quite decorative, in all their colours. So I might leave that there. I'll ask David. He's very good at, sometimes you're making all these decisions. David, can I ask you to come make a decision for me? I'm just saying how good you are. I was going to just take this tray of threads and stick it in the bedroom with all the other stuff. But then I thought it actually looks quite...
I like it.
Yeah, good. Yes, it sort of, the colours go and it sort of shows it's what I use. Good, thank you.
No problem. Consultation fee. Invoice in the back.
Okay, so I'm very lucky to have somebody who gives me his opinion. I can't say I always agree with what he says. There's some hollow laughter in the distance. And then I've put a lot of my brushes and things away in that corner there. I have covered up my Thermofax machine, but I might uncover it. If anybody's interested in knowing about it, I can show it to them. And then let me show you the other wall. So I've sort of themed the whole wall, and I've got some of my finished pieces there, which are sort of the moth ones. You can sort of see the ones that look more finished. But I have so many things in my, it's not really a collection, things I accumulate that interest me. Like I got a bit of coral that came, I probably wouldn't collect it now, but I mean, it's quite from a holiday about 20 years ago in the Caribbean, and I just found them washed up on the beach. I think I'd know better than to take them away, but I didn't then. And I've kept them all this time. I've got dried seed heads, I've got feathers, and I've got things that I've sketched or that I've printed out, that some of the things got used in work, but some of them didn't. And I tend to keep everything. Everything I think might be usable or might be of interest, and things that I'm experimenting with, like I started making sort of pretend slides with butterflies in, which would have, if I'd done more of those, that would have been quite good, but I just never got round to it. And then this ammonite, let me show you my actual cabinet of curiosity right in the corner here. So over here, I've actually got a little cabinet of curiosities, and I've got shells and fossils, and I've even got a red admiral that is still pristine even after 2 or 3 years, and a bit of a wasp's nest. And let me show you. And here is the Nautilus that here is the Nautilus shell that appears in my work quite a bit, that David bought me for a present once because he knows me so well. And then here is the ammonite that I've had an awful long time. I think it came from just going to sit down. This ammonite I've had for ages and ages, and this is what inspired several drawings, prints, and now embroidery. So what I was showing you, the piece up there, and I've got another on that end as well. I think I'm from a photograph. I then did a drawing, photoshopped it. I can't remember what the process was, and then I turned it into an embroidery using special software, and I stitched it out on my embroidery machine, which I'm leaving up because people might be interested, plus it's a bit of a pain to take up and put down again. And so this really is my cabinet of curiosities. So I hope people enjoy looking at it. And I've just put out books and things that are all on the same theme. So seashells, moths, butterflies and their collectors, wildflowers, just sort of old vintagey books that sort of fitted the theme. This is a catalogue from an exhibition a few years ago that could have been made for me because it's called Animal, Vegetable, Mineral, Organising Nature, a Picture Album. Because it was only when I was doing, I mean, it's been several months, as you can imagine, getting all this together. And with ARTWEEKS, which is the umbrella group for us around here, we had to put a lot on online as well. And we had to write things about ourselves and what we were interested in and what our art represented. And it was actually, because I had to do that exercise, it made me think, it really sort of crystallised what I do and sort of brought it all together. Because, okay, you could say I'm inspired by nature, but that's so kind of, you know, so many people are. And I knew it was something a bit more, not more, but I knew it was it wasn't just, it was a particular thing about it. And what I've realised it is that I'm fascinated by how people have recorded nature and found out about things and gone on expeditions, all those amazing women expeditions who'd go in their corsets and things and find plants in China and all that sort of thing. I just find that absolutely incredible and fascinating. And how people, you know, all the taxonomy, how people classify things, the names, and, you know, how that has such a sort of rich cultural history as well as a natural history. So what I'd say brings everything together is that I'm interested in how people observe nature. And I think that's partly why there are never people in my work, because we're always doing the looking. And I don't know if I've expressed that very well, but that's kind of what I've realised. And if I show you this piece over here, so if you look at this piece here, this was inspired by a particular butterfly called the Glanville fritillary. And it's the only British butterfly that's named after a woman. And I was fascinated, you know, so that's interesting for a start. And there's an incredible story about it. It was named for her rather than by her. She was an amateur lepidopterist during kind of the Civil War type era. And I won't go into the detail here, but she had an incredible life. She was treated pretty badly by her husband. And after she died, her will was contested. And one of the reasons was they said, oh, well, she used to go running around with a net and catching butterflies. So she obviously wasn't all there. So it's a really interesting story. And what I put in this quilt is the butterfly itself. I've put some embroidery that sort of that echoes sort of Jacobean style, and I did, you know, I looked up and researched that. I've also put at the bottom there's some plantain prints, because that's what this particular butterfly lays its eggs on. And even the script at the top is from a letter. I couldn't actually find anything from her, but I did find a naturalist, a sort of contemporary of hers. And so the letter, even though nobody will know that, they'll just see the sort of writing. And I've used that print so much in a lot of my work because I just love how it looks. But it actually has meaning because it's all about butterflies and collecting. So that was a real labour of love, that piece. And then above my little cabinet, I'll do a cut-in shot. I've got this box frame, and it's like a contemporary, cruelty-free version of a butterfly collection, because they're all made from paper, all of my prints. And I used a die cutter, very simple butterfly, and I printed this out, and I've pinned those in with pins, so they're a little bit proud, and which is just how real butterflies are pinned. And then what else have I got in here? I've got some of my handmade books. I've got the one in the window. And I've got my sort of specimen jars of dried flowers and things. I've put out collections of shells and sea glass that I've collected on holidays. And then I've just recently, we've had this lovely chap who's been doing some gardening and some painting for us. And he said how he used to be a printer for OUP. And I said, oh, how I love that sort of letterpress, and I've always been interested in it. And he's given me quite a lot of beautiful pieces. We've got C and D for our initials, and some really beautiful crests and some little words that I haven't actually worked out what they are yet. And I just think they're beautiful objects in their own right. And it was so kind of him to give them to us. And he's actually coming along to the private view, so he'll see that I've put them on display. And then I've just got some more of my sketchbooks for people to look at and peruse. So I hope you've enjoyed this sort of walk round. I don't know whether I'll be able to take any more footage. It'd be nice to do a little bit of the private view, but obviously, you know, it's not really fair on other people. So I might do a couple of sort of distance shots. And I'll do a little walk around the garden as well and show you. I think it's going to stay dry. We're quite lucky because it's quite still today and just a nice temperature, not too hot. And I think it's going to be fun. Still got a few jobs to do. So I hope you enjoyed looking round, and you'll join me again soon. Bye for now. Bark.
This is my exhibition. I have worked very hard and long on it, and well, now I'm going to be shipped off with Finley.
You do realise that might go in the video.